Morning class, this is George Love, MCHN 1326 at TSTC Waco's Precision Machining Technologies. I'm going through the, I'm going to give you an updated version of what a real-life programming example would be. Today I'm going to concentrate on the Operations Manager file. What we see in front of us is a pretty standard, this is part of the mill one that we've been doing. We all know how to create features, apply a toolpath, so that we end up with a process sort of like this. I'm going to show you a slightly different way to do this today that uses instead of chaining them individually, it uses the process manager, which you see my mouse hovering over right here. I've already generated all of this code. I'm going to go on and delete that code now. And notice it all went out together. So what we've gotten here are simply some chains in a row, and instead of doing them all one at a time, I'm going to use the process manager to sort of batch process them. Simply select them all, click the process manager window, they will appear there in order. I am now going to, I click in the process steps window. I've had some bad luck just clicking around with it before. And obviously my solid mill traditional is not on, but I'm going to fix that right now, and I'm going to drag it right up here. And I'm going to do a contouring operation, which is what we did individually earlier, but we're going to do this again as a sort of a group. I'm going to make sure that they're all selected here, and I'm going to contour. Then it brings up the contour window. I've already put in a tool and I've set up my machine. It brings up a contour window, which is pretty straightforward. The only difference with this one is that whatever I'm doing here, I'm going to apply to all of those slots all at once. If this all looks okay, and it does, I've picked up a standard 1/4 inch end mill. I'm going to climb mill. My total depth is a 1/2 inch. My incremental depth is a 1/4 inch. I'm not doing any trapezoidal moving. I'm not doing anything weird with my tool. I'm making sure I've got a good lead in and lead out in both the cases, both the entry and exit. And I just OK it. And just like that, it creates all of my depth. Notice they're in the wrong order. Watch, though. What I'm going to do is stop my simulation, and I believe it was, I'll slow it down so I can see it again. It is simply 5. And then I want to go to 7, it looks like. Yeah, 5 and 7. And then that will put the other two together as well. So I'm going to drag 7 up 1. I'll redo my simulation so that my tool doesn't have that rapid movement in the middle there. Oh. My tool doesn't waste time just moving around, doing a nice big lead in, 2 steps down, keeping the slots together. And just like that, I'm done. It's not a super big time saver when I only have these 4 chains together, but if you can imagine where I had a table with 20 different items in there, this would be super handy. The other thing I want you to see on this one is, what if I don't want to see this side? I'm going to select those two. I'm going to right click and I'm going to suppress those. They come up with a, you can just see the very edge of it, they come up with 2 red circles that say they're not going to show up, and then watch what happens. When I do my code, I only see the unsuppressed items. It's going to be a big time saver when you're troubleshooting one little section. I think it's very handy. The other thing that you can see here is, in this area, you can see the NC code for it. I'm going to pick my, well, I don't have a post processor in this one. In this case, I could simply pick my NC code, and it would pop that code up on the screen for me. I'll be showing you this in class today. Today is Tuesday, June the 6th, 2016. I'll show you this in class together, but I wanted you to have a video so that you'd be able to reference this later. Instead of being simply an exercise in one way to do something in Esprit, I wanted to do this so that you can see in production. Normally what happens is you'll only have to alter one little tiny item. In this case, if I wanted to group things together and then I wanted to come back and alter one thing, I can do so, or I can see what I need to alter simply by using the process manager and batch processing them. And then if I wanted to go in and edit the video or edit the simulation, I can suppress the items that I don't want to see, and it will only show me the things that I have decided are important to me. I did suppress these, and I hope you saw how I did that. I click, and this time I right click, and this time I'm just going to unsuppress, and now I'm going to suppress the other side. I right click and suppress, and now suddenly those are gone. And when I show it, now I'm only seeing this time. Again, it's a big time saver, as you can imagine, with a large simulation. This will stop me from having to run through multiple processes, but does let me zero in on just the problem. We'll be discussing this today. This video will be posted to YouTube, and you'll be able to access it on the TSTC Precision Machining Technologies channel. If you have any questions, glove@tstc.edu. Thanks.